Chapter 3535. This is a natural disaster. The Western continent appeared in view, and the Legion commanders stationed in the Undead Empire continuously sent updates on the situation inside. The Dragon Cavalry Legion was engaged in fierce battle, suffering heavy casualties. The enemy numbers were not large, only about 100. Among them were 6 at the 9th level of Dao Venerable Realm, over 30 at the 8th level, and 50 to 60 at the 7th level. The 7th level Dao Venerables were not a threat, as the Dragon Cavalry in the Undead Army were all 7th level Dao Venerables and could easily kill them in battle. But the real trouble was the 6 9th level Dao Venerables. These 6 had powerful combat strength and wielded several strange treasures. Each time they attacked, they caused huge casualties to the Dragon Cavalry Legion. Over 10 million Dragon Cavalry had already died at their hands. The gap between 7th and 9th level Dao Venerables was extremely large, especially with the enemy possessing powerful treasures, further amplifying the difference. The Legion commanders were directing the battle with all their might, using the undying nature of the undead and their own resurrection ability to make the Dragon Cavalry roll like waves to resist the enemy. They would die and resurrect, then retreat to wait for the technique's cooldown time, letting newly resurrected forces go up to fight. This way, casualties were greatly reduced. According to the Legion commander's reports, the treasures in the enemy's hands should be 9th level Dao Venerable treasures, which is why they had such great power. Fortunately, the Dragon Cavalry Legion was numerous, so they could hold on for at least a short time. After entering the Undead Empire, Lin Moyu and Antares quickly hid themselves. Antares emitted a strange aura that enveloped himself and Lin Moyu. At this moment, they seemed to have disappeared from heaven and earth. He was using a technique called dragon concealment, a secret method of the dragon race that could hide their forms. Those with realms lower than Antares would basically find it very difficult to discover them. Antares said,
"Why are we hiding?"
Lin Moyu said,
"Shun hasn't appeared yet. Let's wait a bit longer. Besides, the undead army I've arranged can hold for now."
Antares saw the battle from afar. Although the Dragon Cavalry were dying in batches, there were simply too many of them, seeming endless no matter how many were killed. The enemy appeared to have the advantage, but Antares could see that the Dragon Cavalry were slowly surrounding them. Behind the Dragon Cavalry was a dark mass like storm clouds of skeleton generals. These skeleton generals hadn't entered the front lines of battle, but were silently surrounding from both sides.
"This is meant to wear them down to death."
Antares couldn't help but ask,
"How many have you arranged in total?"
He knew Lin Moyu could summon undead. Before, he could summon quite a few, but now it seemed there were even more. Lin Moyu said,
"There are 10 million dragon cavalry here, and 30 million skeleton generals, totaling 40 million. I've arranged 1,000 such strongholds, so about 40 billion in total."
Antares suddenly turned his head and let out a strange cry.
"How many?"
Lin Moyu said,
40 billion. Is there a problem?"
Antares widened his eyes, certain he hadn't misheard, but still couldn't believe it and asked again.
"Really 40 billion?"
Lin Moyu made an affirmative sound.
"Really 40 billion?"
Antares asked,
"Are all 40 billion at the 7th level of Dao Venerable Realm?"
Lin Moyu nodded again.
"Yes, all at the 7th level of Dao Venerable Realm. It's just that their realm is a bit low. It would be better if they were at the 8th level."
Antares was speechless. He knew Lin Moyu had many undead, but not to this extent. Even 10 million or 100 million would be terrifying enough. If it reached 1 billion, that would be an invincible army. He felt he had already overestimated Lin Moyu's strength, only to realize now how narrow his view had been, how much he had underestimated Lin Moyu. Antares forced himself to accept this fact and said in a low voice,
"Do you know? Even the former origin continent, plus all the Dao Venerables in the outer sky Great Dao, couldn't produce 1 billion 7th level Dao Venerables. You have a full 40 billion here. If this army had been in the origin catastrophe, it would have been enough to sweep across the origin continent back and forth several times."
Lin Moyu said,
"But they're only 7th level Dao Venerables. What use are they against great Tao realm beings?
Antares said,
Of course they're useful. Once they spread out, think about it, how many great Tao realm beings would it take to deal with them? This is the origin continent. Even great Tao realm beings can't act recklessly, but your undead can run wild without restraint.
Speaking to this point, he swallowed hard.
You should know what a locust plague is like. Even a locust plague doesn't have 40 billion. This is a natural disaster, a true natural disaster.
Lin Moyu thought to himself.
40 billion is just a part, it's nothing special.
He of course knew that what Antares said was correct. His undead army might not be able to defeat a single great Tao realm being in a head-on battle. But once spread out for the entire world, it would be a terrible natural disaster. However, the biggest weakness of this approach was still himself. Once he was exposed, it would be easy to be decapitated. Antares found it more and more amazing as he watched. The skeleton generals had already completed their encirclement silently. Those people still didn't know they had been surrounded. At this time, black clouds came flying from afar. The undead armies from nearby strongholds had come to reinforce. Once they arrived, those Tao venerables inside the encirclement would have no chance of escape. Even 9th level Tao venerables wouldn't be able to escape. Sooner or later, they would be worn down to death. Space distorted, and dozens of huge warships appeared in the sky. The warships entered the battlefield in an overbearing manner and began to attack the undead army. The warships also frantically poured out attacks, instantly killing many dragon cavalry. The Legion commanders reacted extremely quickly, rapidly adjusting their formations to minimize casualties as much as possible. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes slightly.
They're from Dragon Coil Island, and there's dragon race aura on them. So, Inshan was hiding on Dragon Coil Island.
Lin Moyu recognized at a glance that these warships came from Dragon Coil Island. Dragon Coil Island was a place where the human race and beast race resolved their conflicts. There was constant fighting there year-round, and not many people interfered. Even armies had formed there to engage in warfare. If the territory wasn't so small, it could almost be considered another continent. The three ancestors also had a Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce branch on Dragon Coil Island. Unexpectedly, Inshan's den was on Dragon Coil Island, right under the three ancestors' noses. The most dangerous place is the safest. Inshan had interpreted this saying to perfection. The addition of the warships changed the battle situation somewhat. These warships were incredibly powerful. Each one was comparable to a 9th level Tao Venerable, and in terms of attack power, they were even much stronger than 9th level Tao Venerables. More and more dragon cavalry were dying. Even the Legion commanders were having trouble rotating them.
These warships are really powerful. They don't look like products of the origin continent.
Lin Moyu said softly, and Antares said,
These warships are from the Divine Artifact sect in the Outer Sky Great Tao. They were specially made for the origin continent by the Divine Artifact sect, called the weakest warships. The weakest warships?
Lin Moyu was surprised. How much confidence must the Divine Artifact sect have to call these warships, comparable to 9th level Tao Venerables, the weakest warships? And Antares said,
Should we wait longer?
Lin Moyu said,
No rush. Let's see who has more patience, us or Inshan.
Chapter 35-36. Actually, I also wanted to wait for the Tai in origin. With the appearance of the Divine Artifact Sect's warships, the situation changed, but Lin Moyu wasn't anxious at all. This was just one stronghold with only one Legion commander, 10 million dragon cavalry plus 30 million skeleton generals. And in the Undead Empire, there were 1,000 such strongholds. The curtain of battle had only just been lifted at one corner. The undead army had no fear, wouldn't be afraid, let alone just being at a temporary disadvantage. Even if they were killed down to the last one, they wouldn't collapse. As long as they held on for a while, the undead armies from other strongholds would arrive, and then the battle situation would reverse again. Inshan hadn't truly shown himself yet, so Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry to make a move. And Antares said in a low voice,
I've heard before that this Yin Shun fellow likes to hide in the shadows and make small moves. Now it seems it's really true.
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
The three ancestors also said that Yin Shun is extremely cunning. They call him Old Yin Sunday.
Antares chuckled.
That's about right. He cultivates the shadow great Tao, so he always likes to hide in the shadows. And if he doesn't actively appear, it's very difficult for others to discover his existence.
The Shadow Great Tao was an extremely obscure and unpopular Great Tao, with not many people comprehending and cultivating it. Lin Moyu said,
Whatever great Tao it is, we'll just wait. I believe he'll definitely come out. Having hidden for so many years, he must have prepared quite a few backup plans. No need to rush.
After holding on for a while, the undead armies from two nearby strongholds arrived. The battle situation changed again. Over 100 million troops densely surrounded the 9th level Dao Venerables and warships. Faced with such a number of undead armies, those Dao Venerables couldn't hold on first. They all retreated back into the warships. More than a dozen warships formed together, the formations on the warships connecting into one piece, forming a huge defensive circle to resist the frenzied attacks of the undead army. Their attacks were very strong, able to instantly kill large numbers of the undead army, but the undead army just couldn't be killed off. Finally, Yin Shun's another backup plan appeared. The space enclosed by the warships shattered like glass. Accompanied by spatial turbulence, a powerful aura leaked out from within. One after another, blood-colored large eyes appeared in the spatial turbulence. The next second, they rushed out from the shattered space, pouncing directly towards the undead army. A total of 5 one-eyed giant beasts rushed out from the spatial turbulence. They were completely black, emitting powerful auras. All 5 giant beasts were at the Pseudo-Great Tao realm. Lin Moyu said,
Pseudo-Great Tao realm giant beasts, is this Yin Shun's confidence?
Antares said,
These are shadowless beasts, a kind of spirit beast in the Shadow Great Tao. They should have been subdued by him and brought down. But these shadowless beasts are not numerous. He couldn't have subdued many. These 5 are probably all of them.
There was a hint of disdain in Antares' tone. These pseudo-Great Tao realm spirit beasts were not even worth his attention. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes.
When the fight starts, leave those few shadowless beasts to me.
Antares chuckled.
What are you planning to do now?
Lin Moyu said.
Just a little experiment.
Antares said casually.
As you wish, go ahead and play.
He didn't care about the shadowless beasts at all. Mere pseudo-Great Tao realm beings, if it wasn't in the origin continent. He could blow away countless of them with one breath. The appearance of the pseudo-Great Tao realm shadowless beasts once again changed the battle situation. Although there were only 5 of them, they were after all at the pseudo-Great Tao realm. They continuously spewed out black mist. Wherever the black mist reached, the undead army died in droves, completely without any resistance. The black mist contained the power of the Shadow Great Tao, already at another level. The black mist connected into a sheet, helping the warships block the undead army, greatly relieving the pressure on the warships. And the black mist was still spreading outwards, making the situation for the undead army unfavorable again. Lin Moyu still wasn't anxious, very happy that the undead armies from several other strongholds would also arrive. Under the absolute advantage in numbers, it wouldn't be so easy for them to reverse the situation. Not to mention anything else, just in the current situation, the undead army in the undead empire could hold on for 7 or 8 years without problem. He had the patience to wait, but Yin Shun might not necessarily have the patience. Using the eye of the undead, Lin Moyu scanned around. Although Yin Shun could hide his form using the Shadow Great Tao, he might not necessarily escape the eye of the undead. Sure enough, after just a moment, a smile appeared at the corner of Lin Moyu's mouth.
He's here.
Hearing Lin Moyu's words, Antares was slightly stunned.
You've found that guy?
Lin Moyu nodded.
He's already here, watching.
Antares said.
Where is he? I'll go bite him to death.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
No rush. If we don't make a move, that's fine. But if we do, we must ensure it's foolproof. You stay here. I'll go make some arrangements first.
As he spoke, Lin Moyu's form suddenly disappeared. This was the Undead Empire, and the origin spirit veins in the Undead Empire all belonged to Lin Moyu. He could use the origin spirit veins to teleport at any time. He had previously arranged large formation groups here, but with this battle, these formation groups had been destroyed. Lin Moyu now needed to arrange new grand formations along the origin spirit veins. With his current attainments in formations, he could already arrange formations far surpassing those of the past. Using the origin spirit veins and Great Tao realm materials, he could arrange a ceiling formation with effects surpassing the 9th level of Tao Venerable Realm. He didn't need many. Just one was enough to prevent Yin Shun from escaping in a short time. As long as they could trap him with Antares plus his own skeleton hell, Yin Shun would definitely have no way out. Outside, the battle continued unabated. Lin Moyu continuously drew divine symbols in the origin spirit veins, gradually forming a ceiling formation. Half an hour later, Lin Moyu returned to Antares' side. By this time, the battle situation had changed again. The number of undead armies had exceeded 200 million. The entire heaven and earth was a world of undead. Yin Shun's Tao Venerables, warships, and shadowless beasts were all trapped within. Although the undead army temporarily couldn't break through, they also couldn't come out. Both sides had fallen into a complete stalemate. Yin Shun also had no new backup plans. The stalemate just continued like this. Lin Moyu looked over with the eye of the undead and said in a low voice,
Yin Shun is preparing to make his move.
Yin Shun's soul flame was flickering faster and faster, a sign that he was about to make his move. However, Yin Shun was very patient. He seemed to be still waiting. Lin Moyu and Antares also accompanied him in waiting, mainly playing a game of
If you don't move, I don't move.
Until the Taiyang origin set and the Tai Yin origin rose accordingly. Yin Shun finally made his move at this moment. A huge power fell from the 9 heavens, and heaven and earth instantly became pitch black. The shadow Great Tao swept down, instantly killing tens of millions of undead troops. The shadow Great Tao raged through heaven and earth like a meat grinder, killing the undead army round after round. He had observed for so long in the shadows and had seen through that the undead army could actually resurrect and continuously rotate. So no matter how many were killed, they couldn't be completely wiped out. Once he made his move, he no longer gave the undead army a chance to resurrect. Lin Moyu said in a low voice,
So he was waiting for the Tai Yin origin.
Antares said,
The Shadow Great Tao, under the cover of the Tai Yin origin, can increase its power by about 10%.
Lin Moyu chuckled.
This is just right. Actually, I also wanted to wait for the Tai Yin origin.
The Tai Yin symbol on his forehead was glowing. Antares was surprised.
So you're a child of Tai Yin?
Lin Moyu smiled.
All right, we're about to enter the stage. Get ready!
Chapter 35-37. Antares' true name. After using the shadow Great Tao, Yin Shun transformed into a black shadow and officially entered the battle. The combat power of a Great Tao realm being instantly reversed the battle situation completely. The undead army quickly collapsed. The advantage in numbers was useless before a Great Tao realm being. Great Tao realm compared to Tao Venerable realm was another level of existence entirely. No matter how many Tao Venerables there were, they couldn't kill a pseudo-Great Tao realm being, but they could stalemate with one. However, when facing a Great Tao realm being, they couldn't even stalemate. Yin Shun had just charged into the battle for less than a second when the undead army suddenly disappeared collectively. Except for the remains of those he had just killed, the billions of undead troops just vanished mysteriously. Yin Shun's face changed abruptly.
Not good.
But it was too late. With a rumbling sound, the new ceiling formation Lin Moyu had arranged appeared in heaven and earth. Sealing heaven and earth, the ceiling formation turned into a cage, trapping Yin Shun and all his subordinates inside. Huge divine symbols flashed in the air. Yin Shun knew he had fallen into a trap. He gathered his great Tao power and charged towards the formation, attempting to break out. Dragon roars suddenly sounded, and dozens of divine dragon shadows appeared in the formation. Their tails swung and dragon breath gushed forth, forcibly driving In Shun back.
Dragon race!
In Shun shouted shrilly.
What does this matter have to do with your dragon race?
Antares instantly rushed to In Shun's face. A piece of dragon scale exploded on the spot, turning into a rain that swept out. At the same time, he shouted loudly,
This is my territory. You ask if it's my business or not.
In Shun's face changed dramatically. He retreated frantically in the rain of dragon scales. The shadow Great Tao rolled up countless black chi, forming armor to block the dragon scales. At the same time, he shouted,
I didn't know this was your territory. I'll leave now and promise never to come back.
Just from this brief exchange, he realized that his power was not stronger than Antares. Fighting would do him no good. Antares said coldly,
You want to leave after coming here? Dream on.
He roared angrily, and the illusions he had transformed into all spewed dragon breath that swept through heaven and earth, completely enveloping In Shun. In Shun shouted shrilly,
Which great Tao divine dragon of the dragon race are you? I have excellent relations with the dragon race's second prince.
He shouldn't have said that. It only made Antares angrier.
I'm nobody.
The second prince of the dragon race was his mortal enemy. Bringing up the second prince was tantamount to seeking death. The dragon breath became even more intense. Antares and the 8 divine dragons he had transformed into formed a strange formation, making the destructive power of the dragon breath even stronger. On the other side, Lin Moyu had also made his move. The skeleton hell appeared, covering all the warships, including the 5 shadowless beasts. The hell fiends charged out frantically, breaking through the formations of the warships and directly killing their way in. Screams immediately came from the warships. The 5 shadowless beasts were entangled by the hell fiends and eaten bit by bit. Their black mist wasn't very effective against the hell fiends. The hell fiends had already touched the threshold of the pseudo-Great Tao realm. Their individual combat power wasn't much weaker than the shadowless beasts, but they completely overwhelmed them in numbers. In just a moment, the warships were torn apart, and none of the Tao venerables inside escaped. The 5 shadowless beasts were also eaten by the hell fiends, leaving only a few pieces of shattered flesh and blood. This was deliberately left by Lin Moyu. Otherwise, nothing would have remained of them. After dealing with these fellows, Lin Moyu began to watch the show. Antares was fighting happily, and he was too lazy to interfere. In Shun was being beaten by Antares, seemingly without any power to fight back. But Lin Moyu wouldn't let his guard down. For an old cunning fellow like In Shun, he definitely had hidden tricks up his sleeve. He wouldn't be so easy to deal with. Seeing that Antares showed no sign of stopping, In Shun became increasingly angry. He screamed, and the shadow Great Tao erupted violently. In an instant, the ceiling formation was enveloped in black chi. Even the dragon breath was affected by the black chi, making everything pitch black. In Shun disappeared into the black chi, completely losing all sense of his presence. Antares said disdainfully,
You can't escape.
Light rose in his eyes, and dragon roars echoed through the clouds. The 8 illusions disappeared simultaneously. 9 colored flames burst out from various parts of his body, instantly turning the ceiling formation into a sea of fire. A ball of blazing sun rose behind Antares, shining on heaven and earth like the Tai Yong origin. The black chi quickly dissipated, and In Shun appeared again. In Shun screamed,
Divine Dragon Blazing Sun, you're from the dragon race royal family.
He recognized Antares' technique, and his tone became fearful. As a cultivator of the Shadow Great Tao, he hated things related to the Taiyang origin the most. Antares still didn't answer. He activated his technique, and raging flames immediately ignited on In Shun's body. In Shun took out a treasure from his hand. It was a bowl-shaped treasure with water inside. The bowl flew up from his hand, landed above his head, then flipped over and covered him. The water inside poured down with a splash, extinguishing the flames on his body. Even the nearby sea of fire couldn't approach, giving Yin Shun a safe space. Antares made a surprised sound.
The extreme cold ice bowl. I didn't expect this thing to fall into your hands.
Yin Shun said in a low voice.
I know who you are now. You're the crown prince who was expelled from the dragon race years ago, Long Huan.
Antares laughed coldly.
I didn't expect there would still be someone who knows my name. But now I'm not called Long Huan anymore. As for what I'm called, you don't have the right to know. Go die.
Antares spat out a dragon pearl. The dragon pearl flew into the blazing sun he had created, and the power of the blazing sun suddenly increased several times. The water vapor from the extreme cold ice bowl was rapidly evaporated, and its range was shrinking drastically.
So your name is Long Huan.
Lin Moyu muttered to himself. He knew Antares wasn't his real name. He previously had the surname Long, which was the surname of the dragon race royal family. His name was Long Huan. After leaving the dragon race, he gave himself the name Antares. Yin Shun said in a low voice,
Long Huan, don't push me. I'm not easy to bully.
Antares snorted coldly.
Then I'd like to see just how not easy to bully you are.
The blazing sun became even more intense. Finally, the extreme cold ice bowl couldn't withstand it. With a light,
ping
sound, a crack appeared on it, then it shattered with a
hua
sound. At the moment the treasure shattered, Yin Shun let out an angry roar and attacked Antares. His figure flickered, appearing and disappearing, as if not in this void. A shadow Great Tao faintly appeared in the void, making his form difficult to grasp.
Shadow Heavenly River.
A pitch-black heavenly river appeared out of nowhere, pouring down from the Great Tao. The heavenly river extinguished the blazing sun. At the same time, Yin Shun rushed to Antares' front. At this moment, a long sword flashing with black light appeared in his hand. Antares didn't care about any of this. He bit down, and Yin Shun raised his sword to slash. With it,
bang.
The long sword shattered on the spot. Yin Shun made a strange cry and disappeared again. At this moment, one of Antares' dragon claws grabbed at the void. Space shattered with a boom, and Yin Shun screamed as he flew backwards, hitting the divine symbols of the formation and bouncing back. One of his arms was broken, forcibly smashed off by Antares. The next second, Yin Shun's broken arm regenerated, but there was terror in his eyes. He never imagined that Antares' close combat ability would reach such a level. His treasure was directly broken. Antares said coldly,
In all these years, you're the second person who dared to engage in close combat with me.
Yin Shun disappeared again. This time, he didn't go after Antares, but went for Lin Moyu instead. He had no idea that his movement trajectory was completely seen by Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu laughed coldly.
You think I'm a soft persimmon, huh?
Chapter 35-38. Can we really not negotiate? Every move Yin Shun made was crystal clear in the eye of the undead. The shadow Great Tao hiding his form was completely useless. He clearly took Lin Moyu for a soft target. Since he couldn't beat Antares, he decided to go after Lin Moyu instead.
Die.
A scream pierced directly into the soul. Lin Moyu's soul was stable and completely unaffected. The skeleton hell instantly expanded, enveloping Yin Shun before he could even arrive. The wings of time curse spread out simultaneously, various curses descending. The time and space Great Taos fused, turning into space-time power falling on Yin Shun. Faced with the endless hell fiends, seeing flames erupting everywhere, and the hell's eye hanging high in the sky, Yin Shun fell into madness.
Hell, how can it be hell?
A dragon roar answered him. Heiyu charged out from the netherworld black pool, pouncing towards Yin Shun. Yin Shun was terrified.
Impossible. How can hell appear again? Didn't the Lord of Hell die in battle? Hell should have been destroyed.
Lin Moyu shook his head without speaking. For someone like Yin Shun, saying even half a word more would be a waste of breath. Hell fiends swarmed towards Yin Shun in dense waves. Yin Shun unleashed his shadow Great Tao, the power of the Great Tao surging forth, wanting to shake the Hell Fiends to death. But he was in the Origin Continent and couldn't use his full power. Not only did he fail to shake the Hell Fiends to death, but many Hell Fiends began to devour his shadow Great Tao. This was what it meant to refuse nothing that comes and eat everything. Even the intangible power of the Great Tao, the Hell Fiends would eat it for you to see. Heiyu fell from the sky, biting towards In Shun. In Shun seemed to have a fear of the Lord of Hell and retreated like a madman. Lin Moyu's curses and space-time power gradually took effect. In Shun felt his consciousness becoming unclear. At this moment, his hair stood on end.
My fortune, you've cut my fortune. You deserve to die.
Lin Moyu still didn't speak. Curses, space-time power, and the Sword of Fortune were his best three-piece set. With this set, In Shun's combat power would be reduced by at least 10%. The Misfortune Lich appeared beside him. Following Lin Moyu's thought, the Misfortune Lich instantly appeared on In Shun's body. In Shun only felt his body sink, as if something was pressing down on him. The Misfortune Lich began to devour his fortune, converting it into misfortune. In Shun immediately discovered the existence of the Misfortune Lich. With a scream, black chi burst out from his body. Within the black chi was vast Great Tao power, turning into a battle blade held high by In Shun. The Misfortune Lich couldn't withstand the impact of the Great Tao Chi and instantly died, needing quite a while to resurrect. A Great Tao Realm being was indeed a Great Tao Realm being. It wasn't so easy to kill him. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry. The skeleton hell had already surrounded him. He couldn't escape. Waves of hell fiends charged over recklessly. Heiyu also attacked frantically. Curses, space-time power, and fortune all took effect. In Shun felt his strength decrease again.
You deserve to die. I know who you are now. We met that day in the relic from beyond the sky.
In Shun said viciously, being suppressed. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Elder has a good memory. It was indeed this junior.
In Shun said in a low voice,
Let me leave. I promise not to cause you trouble in the future. Otherwise, when you go to the outer sky Great Tao in the future, this old man won't let you off.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
That's a matter for the future. This junior might not necessarily go to the outer sky Great Tao in the future. Even if I really go, you might not dare to come find me. Elder doesn't need to threaten. This junior hates being threatened the most in this life. Elder should also know how the withering and flourishing elder left.
In Shun fell silent. The withering and flourishing elder had told him that he had been tricked, his territory taken, and his years of planning destroyed in vain. But he hadn't told him who had taken the territory or how it was taken. In Shun suddenly realized that he had been used as a pawn by the withering and flourishing elder. He had been tricking people all his life, but unexpectedly, he had been tricked himself. In Shun said,
Fine, I won't threaten you. Let me leave. I'll help you deal with the withering and flourishing elder's matter.
Lin Moyu said,
Elder is thinking too much. This junior will deal with the withering and flourishing elder's matter myself. Back then, this junior's strength was insufficient and could only force the withering and flourishing elder away with a plan. But this time, I'm afraid Elder's avatar won't be able to protect itself.
In Shun knew the situation he faced wasn't good. The other party had set up a tight net, and it was indeed difficult for him to escape.
Can we really not negotiate?
In Shun asked. Lin Moyu said,
If Elder hadn't come to cause trouble for this junior wouldn't have actively come to find Elder. But since Elder has come, you should have thought about the consequences. If in the future, in the outer sky Great Tao, Elder comes again, this junior will do the same.
Lin Moyu's meaning was very clear. He wouldn't stop here, and there was no room for negotiation. He never compromised with enemies. Even when facing the withering and flourishing elder before, when his strength was far inferior, he wouldn't compromise, let alone now. And Terry's killed his way into the skeleton hell. In Shun sighed.
If that's the case, then this old man admits defeat. But don't think you'll have it easy.
The shadow Great Tao appeared, and he instantly fused with it. The shadow Great Tao suddenly expanded. Antares snorted coldly.
Self-detonation? Dream on.
Two golden lights shot out from his eyes, cutting through the void like sharp swords, piercing into the shadow Great Tao. Then the golden light exploded, and the shadow Great Tao was instantly riddled with holes. The self-detonation failed. In Shun reconstituted his form, his gaze extremely gloomy. At this moment, he was driven into a corner. Unable to escape or self-detonate, there seemed to be no other way except waiting for death. Lin Moyu was about to make a move when Antares suddenly flew over and blocked in front of Lin Moyu.
Wait a moment.
Lin Moyu immediately stopped and didn't make any further moves. Antares looked at In Shun.
Old In Sun, I've thought about it. We can let you off this time, but there are conditions.
In Shun said in a low voice.
Speak.
Antares said,
First, this territory is ours. You can't come to seize it. If you want to seize territory, go find the three ancestors and the Beast Emperor. Don't come bother us. Is there any problem?
In Shun nodded.
No problem.
Antares continued.
Second, after the origin continent recovers, when my brother enters the outer sky Great Tao, if the withering and flourishing elder comes to cause trouble, you need to solve this problem.
In Shun said in a low voice.
This time I was used as a pawn by the withering and flourishing elder. We already have karma between us. Even if he doesn't come find me, I'll go settle accounts with him.
Antares said.
Third, you must guarantee that you won't cause trouble for my brother in the future.
In Shun said.
I promise not to cause trouble for you in the future, but this old man won't swear a Great Tao oath.
Antares nodded.
No problem. As long as you promise, I'll believe you.
Antares turned to look at Lin Moyu.
Is this okay for this matter?
Lin Moyu gave Antares great face.
No problem. Whatever you decide is fine.
As he spoke, he removed the formation and also put away the skeleton hell. In Shun looked at Lin Moyu and Antares, didn't say anything, and turned to leave. After he left, Antares said,
Kid, you're not blaming me, are you?
Lin Moyu said,
I know you definitely have a reason. Tell me, I want to hear it.
Chapter 35-39. You're going to go crazy. Antares had been full of killing intent just a moment ago, looking as if he had to kill In Shun, but now he suddenly changed his mind. Lin Moyu knew he must have his own thoughts, so he didn't stop him. In fact, Antares would certainly tell him the reason. Antares said,
Actually, having In Shun stay here isn't bad for us. Currently on the land of the origin continent, the Beast Emperor and the three ancestors have the largest forces, with arrangements both open and hidden. Once the great changes in heaven and earth begin, they will naturally gain the most benefits. With In Shun staying here, he will definitely cause them trouble, which will somewhat reduce their advantage.
Lin Moyu naturally understood this reasoning. Even Antares' Eastern Spirit Empire plus his own undead empire couldn't compare to the three ancestors and the Beast Emperor. After all, they had been making arrangements for countless years. What he could see now was just some of their overt forces. As for their hidden arrangements, he couldn't see them at all. Perhaps In Shun, who had also been lurking in the shadows for countless years, might know some things. His existence was a big trouble for the three ancestors and the Beast Emperor. If asked who would most want In Shun dead, it would definitely be the three ancestors and the Beast Emperor. Lin Moyu said,
I know the three ancestors' thoughts. They probably think that even if I can't kill In Shun, I can at least find a way to drive him away, just like I drove away the withering and flourishing elder back then. At worst, I wouldn't let In Shun have an easy time. The three ancestors' purpose is to use me as a tool to kill someone, or to shift the conflict. So leaving him here is also a good choice, but this shouldn't be the main reason.
Antares chuckled.
You understand me well. Indeed, it's not the main reason. The most important thing is actually for you to have fewer troubles when you enter the outer sky Great Tao in the future. This In Shun is petty, and he cultivates the shadow Great Tao. What he's best at is doing some sneaky things. You wouldn't want to be watched by such a person in the shadows after going to the outer sky Great Tao, right? Even if you don't mind, what about your family and friends? Moreover, leaving him here can help you block the withering and flourishing elder. Although that fellow's strength is ordinary, he has lived for countless years and is considered a notable figure in the outer sky Great Tao. He's not as easy to deal with as you think.
Lin Moyu frowned slightly.
Harming my family and friends. Are Great Tao realm beings so unprincipled?
Antares laughed.
Principles? What are principles? Great Tao realm beings do things based on having no guilt in their hearts. As long as they feel no guilt, even if they slaughter tens of millions of people, they won't feel anything wrong.
The fact was just as Antares said. The bottom line for Great Tao realm beings depends on each individual. Having no guilt in their hearts was their bottom line. As for the life and death of others, it wasn't within their consideration at all. Antares made the sudden decision to let Inshun go for Lin Moyu's sake. Lin Moyu looked at Antares.
After not seeing you for many years, you seem to have become smarter.
Antares spewed out a mouthful of dragon breath and shouted loudly.
I've always been smart.
Lin Moyu nodded.
All right, always been smart.
Antares said in a low voice.
I don't want to argue with you. Quickly remove the marks on the origin spirit veins. I want to refine them.
Lin Moyu said.
Don't rush, don't resist, I'll take you somewhere.
With a thought, the origin spirit veins teleported the two of them away. After several consecutive teleportations, Lin Moyu had brought Antares to the center of this land, which was once the withering and flourishing elder's lair. On the treasure ground where spirit plants were reborn, a crystal coffin was placed in the center. Strands of power were gathering into the coffin, nourishing Lillian inside. Antares asked curiously.
Lillian? She's still alive?
Lin Moyu said.
Yes, she's not dead yet, but I don't know how long it will take for her to come back to life.
At this moment, Lillian's soul was in a hazy state, not injured, but also not conscious. In this situation, even spirit flowers were useless. Antares looked at Lillian in the crystal coffin.
It seems you found a cultivator of the soul Great Tao to help her recover part of her true spirit.
With Antares' eyesight, he could naturally see through Lillian's condition. Back then, Lillian had transformed herself into a Tao to help him complete the path to heaven, leaving only a trace of true spirit at the end. Even spirit flowers were useless at that time. To save Lillian, one either had to find the person who created her, or do as they were doing now, letting a cultivator of the soul Great Tao use the trace of true spirit as a base to find a way to recover. Antares looked for a while.
Being able to recover to this extent is already quite good. With this innate spirit soil here, she will eventually recover sooner or later. No need to rush.
Lin Moyu said.
I heard the Beast Emperor say that this piece of innate spirit soil has quite a background. It's a good thing. It seems many people in the outer sky Great Tao want to get it.
Antares said.
To be precise, there are two types of people who want to get it. One is plant-type cultivators, especially those below the Great Tao realm. Absorbing and refining this spirit soil can greatly increase their cultivation speed. The second is people from the spirit medicine Great Tao sect. They like spirit soil for growing various spirit plants. But I know something that others don't know. Do you want to hear it?
Lin Moyu said impatiently.
Just spit it out if you have something to say.
Antares said mysteriously.
The innate spirit soil comes from the earth Great Tao among the 5 elements Great Tao. They all contain a trace of the earth Great Tao's origin. If one could master it, there might be a chance to become the Tao Lord of the earth Great Tao.
Lin Moyu frowned.
How do you know this?
Antares chuckled.
Who am I? How many things in this world are there that I don't know?
He started boasting again, being very shameless. Lin Moyu knew this guy had a thick enough skin.
Since that's the case, I have something here that I want you to see too.
As he spoke, Lin Moyu opened the entrance to his soul world, gesturing for Antares to come in. Lin Moyu still maintained full trust in Antares. Even his own soul world he could open to him. Antares chuckled.
So mysterious, then let me have a good look.
He sent a trace of his soul in. As soon as he entered Lin Moyu's soul world. In Lin Moyu's soul world, Antares took form and immediately let out a strange cry as he swept his gaze around.
Why is your soul world so big?
Lin Moyu didn't feel anything special. His soul flew in front of Antares.
Is it big? It's okay.
Antares then saw Lin Moyu's soul.
Goodness, how many Tao patterns do you have?
Lin Moyu said.
18 basic Tao patterns.
Antares' eyes widened so much that his eyeballs fell out. He hurriedly stuffed his eyeballs back in, still unable to believe.
18?
Lin Moyu made an affirmative sound.
Yes, is there a problem?
Antares said.
Of course there's a problem. Do you know that in the outer sky great Tao, those few with the most Tao patterns only have 12 basic Tao patterns? You actually have 18. You're going to go crazy.
Lin Moyu said.
This is nothing. Look over there.
Following Lin Moyu's direction, Antares saw the dragon soul crystal, an 11-colored dragon soul crystal. Bang! The soul body he had formed instantly shattered. Chapter 3540. I'll go to the Taiyang origin and give it a shot. The 11th color, although not fully formed yet, had already appeared. It was only a matter of time before it fully materialized. When he saw the 11-colored dragon soul crystal, Antares' soul body that he had formed silently collapsed, without making even the slightest sound. This showed how great of a shock he had received. The appearance of the 11-colored dragon soul crystal far exceeded his imagination. No, it should be said that it completely overturned his understanding. Several seconds later, Antares' soul reformed. He was still staring wide-eyed at the 11-colored dragon soul crystal, stammering.
You.
After saying,
You.
Twice, there was another soft sound, and Antares' soul body shattered again. Lin Moyu slapped his forehead, not knowing whether to laugh or cry.
This guy, is his ability to accept things really this poor?
After a while, Antares formed his soul body for the third time. This time he finally calmed down somewhat, though his speech was still stuttering.
How did you create this monster?
Lin Moyu asked curiously.
What monster?
Antares stared at the 11-colored dragon soul crystal and said word by word.
The dragon soul crystal, the 11-colored dragon soul crystal.
Lin Moyu said.
Is there a problem with the 11-colored dragon soul crystal?
Antares said.
The problem is huge.
Lin Moyu said.
When it turned 10-colored before, Tianlong had seen it. His reaction was also quite big, but not as extreme as yours.
Antares shook his dragon head.
There are some things he doesn't know. That's a secret of our dragon race.
Seeing Antares' expression, Lin Moyu already realized that the matter was indeed not simple. Given Antares' strong mind, for his soul to collapse twice in a row, it was clearly because the shock was too great, even affecting his Tao heart. Lin Moyu said.
A secret of the dragon race, can I hear it?
Antares looked at Lin Moyu with a complex gaze, then sighed.
Things have come to this point. What's there that can't be said?
He closed his eyes in thought, seeming to organize his words. After a moment, he slowly began to speak.
The dragon soul crystal is something we dragons create by condensing our own souls and essence blood. For outsiders, dragon soul crystals can help them refine their souls, making their souls purer, while also providing some defensive ability for the soul. It can barely be considered a soul treasure. But you should have noticed, although dragon soul crystals don't have intelligence, they actually have some instincts.
Lin Moyu had indeed noticed this point.
That's right, they do have some instincts.
Antares continued.
The highest level dragon soul crystal we can create is 9-colored. We have no way to improve it further. However, 9 colors is just our limit, not the limit of dragon soul crystals. It's said that the dragon race ancestor could create 10-colored dragon soul crystals. Later, the dragon race ancestor fell, but before falling, he left behind some words. He said that when a 10-colored dragon soul crystal appears, it means he will be revived and return. But if a 12-colored dragon soul crystal appears, the dragon soul crystal will gain intelligence and become an evil dragon. The dragon race will face a crisis of extinction.
Lin Moyu said.
There's such a saying? Then how about 11 colors?
Antares said.
The dragon race ancestor also said, if an 11-colored dragon soul crystal appears, it means the dragon race will give birth to a new dragon race ancestor, and it also means he won't return anymore.
Lin Moyu frowned slightly.
Do you believe such words? The dragon race ancestor was at most a Tao lord of an origin great Tao. How could he predict such distant future events?
Antares said.
Originally, I didn't really believe it either, but seeing this thing, I have no choice but to believe. Now that I think about it, those words the dragon race ancestor left back then weren't just said casually. When the dragon race ancestor returned from that place, he was already not right. He found the two strongest practitioners of the Destiny Great Tao at that time, plus a top figure who cultivated the Time Great Tao, to divine the future for him together. Perhaps they really saw something from the future, so they left such words.
Lin Moyu said.
Then according to what the dragon race ancestor said, does this mean that this 11-colored dragon soul crystal will become the new dragon race ancestor of the dragon race?
Antares shook his dragon head.
I don't know. The dragon race ancestor didn't say clearly.
Lin Moyu pondered for a moment, then said in a low voice.
I have an idea. I don't know if it's correct. The dragon race ancestor was born from the Taiyang origin. Even if a new dragon race ancestor is to be born, it must be related to the Taiyang origin. Your bloodline contains the power of the Taiyang origin. If what the dragon race ancestor said is true, perhaps you really should have a new dragon race ancestor appear. Do you want to consider trying to refine and absorb this dragon soul crystal? You might get some unexpected gains.
Lin Moyu looked at Antares' expression. Antares wasn't very good at hiding his emotions, especially his soul. The soul, stripped of the disguise of flesh, was easier to see through. Hearing Lin Moyu's words, his eyes clearly revealed an impulse to try. If what the dragon race ancestor said was true, there really was this possibility. Lin Moyu said,
You need to think it through carefully. This could be a big gamble. No one knows what the result will be. I'm just analyzing based on the dragon race ancestor's words. A 12-colored dragon soul crystal will gain intelligence, so an 11-colored dragon soul crystal, although it doesn't have intelligence yet, its instincts should have reached the peak. It won't be easy for you to refine it. If you're not careful, it might turn the tables on you, and you won't be you anymore.
Lin Moyu's words made Antares fall into deep thought. Although it was just a hypothesis, this risk indeed might exist. Lin Moyu continued.
Although there's danger, you should also think positively. This dragon soul crystal was given to me by you. It contains your aura and essence blood. It should be relatively easier for you to refine it.
Antares thought for a moment and then made his decision.
Then I'll give it a try.
He wasn't a dragon who hesitated. Since he decided to try, he would boldly try, not afraid of anything. Lin Moyu shook his head.
Now is not the time. Wait until the great changes in heaven and earth are over and heaven and earth are reconnected. Then go to the Taiyang origin to absorb and refine it. The success rate should be higher.
The dragon race ancestor was born from the Taiyang origin. If a new dragon race ancestor was to be born, it must be inseparable from the Taiyang origin. Now heaven and earth were isolated. The Taiyang origin could be seen but not touched. They could only wait. Moreover, the 11-colored dragon soul crystal hadn't fully matured yet. It was still a bit short. After it fully matured, then he would give it to Antares. Antares believed in Lin Moyu's judgment.
All right, then let's wait until the great changes in heaven and earth are over. I'll go to the Taiyang origin and give it a shot.
Lin Moyu said.
I'll accompany you when the time comes.
Antares now seemed to see something amazing again.
This tree, where did you get it from?
Lin Moyu said.
It was fused by my innate fire.
Antares murmured.
Why do I feel like this tree looks familiar? Like I've seen it somewhere before.
After thinking for a while, Antares couldn't remember. He murmured.
This tree is somewhat similar to our dragon god tree, but also different. The dragon god tree isn't this big.
Lin Moyu said.
I call it the world tree.
Antares indicated he had never heard of the name world tree, but he could feel that the world tree was extraordinary. Chapter 35:41. The great changes in heaven and earth are the beginning of trouble. Antares had lived for a very long time. He had lived on the origin continent for a long period and in the outer sky Great Tao for another long period, so he knew many things. Unfortunately, he wasn't omniscient, and there were many things beyond his knowledge. Lin Moyu asked Antares many questions about the outer sky Great Tao. Through Antares' explanations, he gained some understanding of the outer sky Great Tao. He had seen the remnants of Great Taos and had personally ascended Great Taos. Except for some intangible Great Taos, most Great Taos had their own physical form called Tao lands. Tao lands were vast. Although the Tao land of a single Great Tao wasn't as large as a continent in the origin continent, it was still enough to accommodate many people. There were also legacies and sects on the Great Taos. And those powerful sects and forces once had corresponding forces on the origin continent. Back when heaven and earth weren't cut off, the sects and forces on the origin continent were their roots. Because in the world of the outer sky Great Tao, it was very difficult for ordinary people to cultivate beyond the Tao King realm. For example, on the Tao land of a fire Great Tao, all powers except the fire Great Tao would be rejected. There, one could only cultivate and comprehend the fire Great Tao. If your constitution wasn't suitable, you either had to find a suitable Great Tao or honestly be an ordinary person. Tao lands weren't paradise. Ordinary people on Tao lands only had lifespans of a few decades, even shorter than ordinary people on the origin continent. The reason was that on Tao lands, the power of the Great Tao was too strong for ordinary people to endure for long periods. Some people had tried to build sects and cultivation points outside the Tao lands. But the Great Taos were extremely far apart from each other, and many Great Tao powers conflicted with each other, causing collisions and extreme instability, making them unsuitable for cultivation. So various forces and sects had to establish their own legacies on the origin continent, because on the origin continent, the powers of various Great Taos were fused together, suitable for people of all attributes and constitutions to cultivate. Now that heaven and earth were cut off, those sects and legacies from the outer sky Great Tao were in trouble. It was very difficult for them to find people suitable for cultivating their Tao systems. Constitution was unpredictable. It was possible that two cultivators suitable for cultivating the fire Great Tao might have a child not suitable for cultivating the fire Great Tao, who would have to be sent elsewhere to cultivate. In short, it was far inferior to being on the origin continent. As such, when the great changes in heaven and earth occurred and the origin continent recovered its 5 continents, those powerful sects would surely come to occupy various spirit mountains and beautiful waters, occupying large numbers of origin spirit veins. And some weaker sects and forces could only occupy what was left over. The current structure of the origin continent would inevitably be broken. Ancient sects like the ancient Lotus Holy Land, backed by great mountains, might not be greatly impacted. Sects like the Cold Water Holy Land, although they also had great Tao realm beings behind them, Gu Hanyu's strength wasn't considered strong, so they would inevitably be impacted. Lin Moyu vaguely felt that the great changes in heaven and earth were just the beginning of trouble. Yuedao City was his own force, so he would certainly guard it. No one should think of touching Yuedao City's territory. The Cold Water Holy Land was Gu Hanyu's sect, and the current sect leader was still his sister-in-law, so he must also guard it. To avoid unexpected situations, strong power was needed. Otherwise, everything would just be wishful thinking. After pondering, Lin Moyu confirmed his thoughts.
During the great changes in heaven and earth, I must enter the great Tao realm. Only then will I have the qualifications to confront those fellows.
Antares said,
Now you know, right? The outer sky Great Tao isn't peaceful. and some fellows all feel like they're high and mighty. You'll see when the time comes.
Lin Moyu said.
It doesn't matter. As long as they don't provoke me, it's fine. If they provoke me, I'll kill my way up there, making blood flow like a river.
Antares said.
All right, I'll kill with you.
Lin Moyu removed his soul imprints from the origin spirit veins, returning them to an ownerless state, allowing Antares to refine them instead. After the refinement was complete, Antares would bring some spirit beasts to guard. The number naturally couldn't be as many as the undead army, but it wouldn't be too few either. Antares told Lin Moyu what he was going to do next. He would go to the southern and northern continents to subdue all the spirit beasts there. The territories of these spirit beasts would also become his territory. Although such territories wouldn't be too many, it was better than nothing. Even if Lin Moyu's guess was wrong, he would still gain quite a few benefits from the great changes in heaven and earth. Antares was refining the origin spirit veins. This wasn't something that could be done quickly. Even he needed some time. Lin Moyu flicked out a ball of undying flame, letting it fall on a piece of flesh. This was flesh left behind by the shadowless beasts earlier. Lin Moyu wanted to see if his resurrect the dead could resurrect pseudo-great Dao realm beings. His realm had improved, and he had strengthened his techniques with Dao patterns. The power of his techniques had increased a lot compared to before. Resurrecting great Dao realm beings was still not possible, but he could try with pseudo-great Dao realm beings. The flesh was reborn in the undying flame. Soon, the outline of a shadowless beast appeared in view. Then souls surged in from all directions like waves. A soul flame suddenly appeared and began to burn rapidly. The shadowless beast was successfully resurrected. Its eyes, black as ink, stared unblinkingly at Lin Moyu. In its eyes, Lin Moyu saw struggle, anger, and resistance. In the unseen, there was a force that resurrected it and made it recognize Lin Moyu as its master. But it didn't want to recognize Lin Moyu as its master. The two were in conflict. Lin Moyu had seen this situation before. A moment later, with a light sound, the shadowless beast turned to dust before Lin Moyu's eyes. The resurrection had failed. It wasn't successful. Lin Moyu wasn't disappointed. The process just now had lasted for a while, telling him that if he became a bit stronger, resurrect the dead would be able to successfully resurrect pseudo-great Dao realm beings. Whether pseudo-great Dao realm or great Dao realm, they all had the ability of eternal life, meaning they were all recognized by the great Dao. So it was still somewhat difficult for him to resurrect them beyond his level.
I'll try again when I reach the 7th level of Dao Venerable Realm.
Lin Moyu didn't give up. After all, he still had 4 pieces of flesh in hand, so he could continue to try. Trying level by level, he would eventually succeed. Lin Moyu looked at Antares, who was still refining the origin spirit veins.
Olden, I'm going to the Boundary Sea.
Antares made an sound.
Do you want me to accompany you?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
No need, I'll go by myself. You focus on refining.
Before leaving, Lin Moyu left Supu behind, plus a Legion commander. Antares wouldn't always stay here. With them here, there was no need to worry about anyone coming to disturb Lillian. With Lin Moyu's current strength, Supu's role had greatly diminished. This top-tier fighter could be used elsewhere. Flying out from the western continent, Lin Moyu flew over the Boundary Sea for a while, gradually moving away from land and truly entering the Boundary Sea region. He took out a huge white pearl and injected his thoughts into it.
Elder, this junior has something to discuss with you.
Chapter 3542. The Destiny Plate within 100 years. The pearl given to Lin Moyu by the King of the Boundary Sea contained a trace of the King's will. When needed, it could be used to contact him. The white pearl glowed brightly, standing out particularly in the dim world of the Boundary Sea. After a few seconds, the King of the Boundary Sea's voice came from the pearl.
What matter brings young friend Lin to seek me?
Lin Moyu said.
There's something I need to trouble you with, Elder. Can we talk face to face?
The King of the Boundary Sea agreed readily.
Certainly, please follow the pearl, young friend.
The pearl flew up automatically, and Lin Moyu followed closely behind. After flying for some distance, an island appeared in view. Lin Moyu saw at a glance that this wasn't an island, but the shell of a sea turtle. This sea turtle was only at the God King realm, but fortunately it was large enough. On its shell was arranged a teleportation formation. Lin Moyu stepped onto the turtle shell. The formation activated, and he instantly disappeared from the spot. The aura of origin spirit veins whistled around him. The king of the Boundary Sea used the origin spirit veins under the Boundary Sea to arrange teleportation formations, allowing for rapid travel. Under the entire Boundary Sea were many origin spirit veins, almost all belonging to the king of the Boundary Sea. In terms of territory, the Beast Emperor and the three ancestors combined might not have as much as the king of the Boundary Sea. However, their methods of arrangement were different. It was hard to say which one heaven and earth recognized more. This teleportation distance was quite far. The entire teleportation lasted 2 minutes before ending. As his vision cleared, a magnificent palace appeared before him. Lin Moyu sensed the aura of the water Great Tao. Looking up, he saw the illusory form of a Great Tao hanging overhead like the Milky Way. The king of the Boundary Sea had used formations to summon down the illusory form of the water Great Tao, letting its power shower over the entire palace. The waters of the Boundary Sea rippled dozens of meters above, held back by an invisible force, unable to fall. The palace gates opened, and the voice of the king of the Boundary Sea came from within.
Please enter, young friend.
Lin Moyu walked into the palace. There were water stains everywhere, clearly showing that the seawater had just been removed not long ago. He knew the king of the Boundary Sea had removed the seawater for fear he wouldn't be comfortable in an underwater environment. Entering the palace, he saw the king of the Boundary Sea in human form, seated on his throne. Strangely, the palace and throne were built to human scale, not to the size of the king of the Boundary Sea's true form. This indicated that in normal times, the king of the Boundary Sea also maintained a human form. Lin Moyu gave a slight bow.
Greetings, elder.
The king of the Boundary Sea laughed heartily.
No need for such formalities, young friend Lin. What's all this elder business? My name is Mo Hay. Just call me Old Hay.
He was being so friendly, but Lin Moyu wouldn't really call him Old Hay. But to avoid seeming distant, Lin Moyu changed his form of address to
Big brother.
The king of the Boundary Sea calmly accepted Lin Moyu as a little brother.
What brings little brother Lin to see me?
Lin Moyu said.
I heard that big brother Mo Hay has a treasure that can predict some things.
Mo Hay said.
Indeed, I do have such a treasure, but its predictions aren't necessarily accurate. What does little brother want to predict?
Lin Moyu said.
I want to know when the origin ancestral land will appear.
Mo Hay said.
Originally, predicting this would be somewhat difficult.
Lin Moyu asked.
Is anything needed?
Mo Hay took out a treasure. This treasure looked like a large plate, empty inside.
This is the treasure that can predict the future. It's called the Destiny Plate. During the time when the Destiny Great Tao was damaged, this treasure was useless junk. Only when the Destiny Great Tao recovered did its functions gradually return. It wasn't until 10,000 years ago, when the Destiny Great Tao fully recovered, that it could exert its effects. To use it for prediction, you either need materials related to the Destiny Great Tao as raw materials, or directly inject the power of the Destiny Great Tao. Otherwise, this treasure can't be used. But even so, the predictions aren't always accurate. The future's destiny is always changing. Sometimes it can help much, and might even be counterproductive.
Peering into the future wasn't a good thing. The possibility the king of the Boundary Sea mentioned indeed existed. Lin Moyu said.
I just want to see a rough time frame. It doesn't need to be very accurate. As for the Destiny Great Tao, I have a way.
With a thought, he summoned the Destiny Lich to his side. The Destiny Lich could directly communicate with the Destiny Great Tao and draw some of its power. This shouldn't be a problem. Seeing the Destiny Lich, Mo Hay chuckled.
Little brother's methods are indeed extraordinary. But don't have too high expectations. The origin ancestral land, little brother will see for himself.
Saying this, he tossed the destiny plate to Lin Moyu, letting him handle it himself. Lin Moyu placed the destiny plate on the ground. The destiny lich flew onto the destiny plate, summoning the destiny great Tao. The power of the destiny great Tao was drawn into the destiny plate, which immediately began to glow. On the originally empty plate surface, a large amount of mist appeared, quickly becoming dense, finally turning into water flowing into the plate. Emohei said,
Little brother can drip some blood onto it, and use your soul to express what you want to predict.
Lin Moyu followed his instructions, dripping in some essence blood while using his soul to express what he wanted to see. Lin Moyu's soul was strong and pure, even moving the king of the boundary sea somewhat. The moment his soul power touched the destiny plate, the scene before Lin Moyu's eyes rapidly changed. An illusory yet vast great Tao appeared before his eyes, faintly visible in the boundless void.
The destiny great Tao.
Lin Moyu recognized at a glance that this was the destiny great Tao. The destiny great Tao had brought his soul to its realm. Although he knew this was just an illusion, the vastness of the destiny great Tao still left a deep impression. The next second, the destiny great Tao vanished, and a point of light appeared in the void. The point of light, carrying a hazy color, rushed over at an alarming speed, crashing into him with a boom. The light point carried him flying through the void. The scenes in his vision changed rapidly. One great Tao after another appeared, then quickly receded into the distance. From this, he could judge how fast he was moving at this moment. Then he saw a continent floating in the void. The continent was incredibly vast, with 4 landmasses visible on its surface.
The origin continent.
The light point carried him straight towards the origin continent. With a boom, his soul shook, the scene before his eyes disappeared, and Lin Moyu's consciousness left the destiny plate. Emohei asked with a smile.
How was it? Did you see the result? I saw it. Although the time can't be completely certain, it should be within 100 years.
Emohei pondered for a few seconds.
Calculating the time, it is indeed about right. It's been a long time since the origin ancestral land last appeared. It should be coming soon. Actually, you could have asked me or the 3 ancestors about this matter. Why did you need to predict it again?
Lin Moyu said directly.
Regarding the future great changes in heaven and earth, I have some ideas of my own. I want to contend for the leading role in the great changes.
Emohei laughed.
Young friend, if the 3 ancestors knew of this idea, he would probably be anxious with you.
Lin Moyu said.
I'm just telling the truth. Unless the 3 ancestors kills me, I will certainly try.
At this point, Lin Moyu pulled out a big flag.
That old fellow said so. I have no choice.
Chapter 3543. The Formation in the Great Whirlpool. Hearing Lin Moyu's words, the king of the Boundary Sea showed sudden respect. Although he didn't say it explicitly, the change in his expression didn't escape Lin Moyu's eyes. Lin Moyu could even guess Emohei's thoughts. From the first time the green-robed old man appeared, Emohei, as the king of the Boundary Sea, had already sensed something. At that time, he felt that the relationship between the green-robed old man and Lin Moyu must be unusual. Later events also confirmed his guess. That being whose name they hardly dared to mention was casually referred to as
that old fellow
by Lin Moyu without any respect. This further indicated that Lin Moyu had a close relationship with him. Emohei said in a low voice,
Is it that person's intention?
Lin Moyu said,
He just told me to find a way to lead this great change in heaven and earth, but didn't specify how to lead it. Anyway, I'll try my best. Whether I can succeed or not, I don't know either. Moreover, he also told me to go to the origin ancestral land. This time, asking to borrow Big Brother Emohei's destiny plate was actually just to confirm whether the origin ancestral land would descend in the near future. If there's still a lot of time, then I can go do some other things. If there's not much time, then I'll just wait for the origin ancestral land to descend.
Mohe could fully accept Lin Moyu's explanation. These words had no logical flaws, and Mohe could feel that Lin Moyu wasn't lying. In fact, apart from pulling out the green-robed old man's big flag, Lin Moyu was telling the truth. He really thought this way. If the origin ancestral land could descend in the near future, then he would wait for it. If it was still thousands of years away, he couldn't wait even if he wanted to. He did indeed judge that the great changes in heaven and earth on the origin continent were related to the seal at the bottom of the boundary sea. But this was also his personal guess and couldn't be taken as certain. Mohe said,
"So young friend plans to wait now?"
in his view, a mere 100 years wasn't long. It would pass quickly with just a bit of waiting. Lin Moyu made an affirmative sound.
"Since the destiny plate says it will descend within 100 years, I'll wait a bit. I won't go anywhere else for now."
Mohe made an sound.
"I wonder how many people will enter the origin ancestral land this time, and how many will stay inside forever. If Lin young friend enters, you must be very careful. It's not safe inside."
Lin Moyu asked.
"Are there many people who die in there every year?"
Mohe said,
"About 10 to 20%, which isn't too many. But among those who never return, most are geniuses. Instead, it's those with average strength who can return safely."
Lin Moyu said,
"Thank you for the warning, big brother Mohe. I'll be careful."
Mohe sent Lin Moyu off, and Lin Moyu returned to the eastern continent alone. Now that he roughly knew when the origin ancestral land would appear, he had some certainty in his heart. Next, he would return to Yuedao City to seclude himself and cultivate, trying to improve his cultivation as much as possible to prepare for the origin ancestral land. After reaching the 6th level of Dao Venerable Realm, the speed of condensing Dao patterns slowed down again. He had the Great Dao Crystal, Silver Tree Sap, Ice Jade Lotus Seed, and various other treasures to aid cultivation. Now, to condense one Dao pattern, he needed a full 4 years, much slower than when he was at the 5th level of Dao Venerable Realm. Even if everything went smoothly, it would take 72 years to condense all 18 Dao patterns. He wanted to enter the 7th level of Dao Venerable Realm before the origin ancestral land arrived. The difference between a 7th level ancestor and the 6th level of Dao Venerable Realm would be another small leap, and his combat power would increase considerably. Lin Moyu sat cross-legged on the cloud-piercing sword, multitasking by leading various great Das, condensing Dao patterns, and deeply studying divine symbols. Several days later, the cloud-piercing sword arrived at the center of the boundary sea, and the great whirlpools appeared in view. This was his 3rd time crossing the boundary sea. If calculated carefully, this was actually his 1st time crossing by himself. The 1st time he had come on the Hurricane warship. The 2nd time was with Antares. The previous 2 times he hadn't stopped, just passing over directly. This time he stopped above the great whirlpools. He looked at the great whirlpools with bright eyes, feeling the enormous suction coming from them. Huge whirlpools rotated in the boundary sea, making thunderous sounds. From afar, some strange creatures could be seen swimming near the great whirlpools. They weren't sea race members, nor did they look like spirit beasts. Both their forms and auras were very strange. Almost everyone had a different form. Some even had characteristics of the sea race, but overall they were no longer sea race members. Lin Moyu observed them, faintly sensing a trace of aura similar to the otherworldly celestial beings from them. They were more like divine pets, but not quite true divine pets.
"It seems I wasn't wrong. The great whirlpools should lead directly to the formation seal at the bottom of the boundary sea. Power leaking from the formation seal has polluted these sea race creatures, causing them to mutate. This isn't even the center of the great whirlpools. It's said that no one who has gone to the true center has ever returned, even those at the 9th level of Dao Venerable Realm."
Lin Moyu, with a trace of curiosity, flew towards the center of the great whirlpools. The great whirlpools referred to an area containing countless whirlpools of various sizes. The largest whirlpool was at the center. As for how to find the center, the simplest method was to follow the suction force. The closer to the center, the stronger the suction. Lin Moyu felt the changes in the suction force. After flying for over 100,000 kilometers, he finally saw an amazing sight. From afar, an incredibly huge whirlpool was slowly rotating in the boundary sea. This whirlpool was like a giant wound in the boundary sea. Its diameter was at least tens of thousands of kilometers. As it rotated, thunderous sounds constantly emanated, resonating with the soul, turning into a strange seductive force. This seductive force was very strong, able to bewitch the soul, making people feel an impulse to approach. However, Lin Moyu's soul realm was strong enough, so he wasn't affected. Its strong suction force while rotating was also pulling Lin Moyu towards it. Lin Moyu stopped when he was still thousands of kilometers away, not daring to get closer. The change in suction force told Lin Moyu that if he got any closer, he would be sucked in. This force was truly too powerful, so powerful that even he couldn't resist it. His gaze flickered, and he saw a large number of divine symbols. This great whirlpool was filled with countless divine symbols. The divine symbols formed an extremely complex formation. The complexity of this formation far exceeded Lin Moyu's imagination. If one didn't understand divine symbols, they wouldn't be able to see the existence of this formation at all. The divine symbols were hidden in the boundary sea, and the great whirlpool was just the manifestation of this formation. Lin Moyu looked at this formation from afar, trying to memorize it. But he found that with his current level of formation skills, he actually couldn't completely memorize it. The divine symbols in this formation weren't fixed but were constantly changing and moving. Moreover, there were many layers of divine symbols, and the symbols between each layer would exchange positions with each other. Lin Moyu felt admiration, admiring the person who arranged this formation. Their attainment in formations was far beyond his own. After repeated observations, Lin Moyu finally saw some clues. The reason this formation was so complex was that it wasn't a single formation, but a formation group formed by the fusion of over 100 formations. These formations had different functions but could overlap and fuse with each other. It was simply incredible, completely different from the formation groups he had arranged before. Lin Moyu was fascinated by what he saw, and time slipped away without him noticing.